What is a condominium reserve fund? Understanding your condo's hidden safety net.
When you purchase a condominium, your ownership extending beyond the interior boundaries of your individual dwelling unit is one of the most fundamental aspects of collective real estate ownership. You aren't just buying the space between your drywall, you are simultaneously acquiring a fractional, undivided ownership interest in the entire physical infrastructure that keeps the development standing. That includes the foundational roof overhead, the complex mechanical elevator shafts, the underground parkade slabs, the shared hallways, exterior cladding, and surrounding landscaped grounds. Because every owner shares in these core assets, every owner also shares in the responsibility for their long-term preservation. Over time, heavy weather exposure, daily usage, and natural material aging will inevitably cause every major component of the physical plant to wear out. Flat membrane roofs will begin to leak, mechanical elevator systems will suffer motor failures, exterior brick mortar will degrade, and underground parking structures will experience water ingress and concrete spalling. When these large-scale structural issues inevitably arise, the costs involved in remediating them are massive. Replacing an entire roof deck or retrofitting an outdated HVAC system isn't a simple handyman fix. It often runs into hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. So how does a condominium community pay for these massive capital projects without throwing its owners into financial chaos or pushing the entire property into physical neglect? The entire financial engine relies on one critical, legally mandated instrument: the Condominium Reserve Fund.
At its core, a reserve fund is a specialized, segregated savings account maintained by the Condominium Corporation or Homeowners Association. Its sole purpose is to accumulate capital over time so that money is readily available when major repair or replacement projects become necessary. Every month, when unit owners submit their mandatory condominium maintenance fees, that capital is divided at the accounting level into two strictly separated accounts. The operating account. This fund handles the predictable, day-to-day administrative and property management expenses. It covers recurring service contracts like routine hallway cleaning, seasonal lawn care and snow removal, minor repair calls, site staff salaries, property management administration fees, and common area utility bills like gas, water, and electricity. The Reserve Fund. This account is legally restricted and strictly set aside for non-routine major capital repairs and replacements of the corporation's common elements. These projects don't happen monthly. They occur on extended lifecycle timelines, typically ranging anywhere from 5 to 30 years. To ensure long-term stability, law strictly prohibits condo boards from using reserve fund monies to plug operational budget deficits or cover everyday expenses like snow plowing or front desk staffing. It operates purely as a protected, long-term capital preservation account designed to maintain the physical and financial integrity of the overall property across generations of owners. How does a condominium board accurately figure out how much money needs to be sitting in this reserve fund at any given point in time? They aren't allowed to simply guess or pick arbitrary numbers out of thin air. By law, across most jurisdictions, condominium boards are mandated to commission a comprehensive, formal financial and physical review known as a reserve fund study or reserve study. This study is conducted by an independent qualified professional, usually an engineering firm or specialist reserve planner. The consultant conducts a comprehensive physical inspection of the entire site, assessing the current condition of every major common element. They evaluate everything from boiler systems, emergency generators, and window sealants to swimming pool liners, balconies, and asphalt driveways. For each component, the planner estimates 3 key metrics: the current age and remaining useful life of the item, the expected total cost to repair or replace it when it reaches the end of its functional life, the projected impact of inflation and shifting material labor costs over time. For example, if a building's underground parking garage membrane costs $500,000 to overhaul and has a remaining useful life of 10 years, the reserve study outlines a mathematically calculated funding plan. It dictates precisely how much capital the board must collect from owners each year to ensure $500,000 is waiting in the bank the exact year the membrane reaches failure point.
Because economic conditions change, inflation fluctuates, and materials age unpredictably due to weather or heavy use, these studies are refreshed on a regular legal cycle, typically every 3 to 5 years, to recalibrate calculations and prevent funding shortfalls.
Why should every current owner and prospective buyer care deeply about the financial state of a building's reserve fund? If a reserve fund is underfunded, it means past and current contributions haven't kept pace with the physical degradation of the building. When a critical structural failure occurs, such as a boiler breakdown in midwinter or a leaking roof, the repair cannot be postponed. If the reserve account lacks sufficient capital to cover the invoice, the board is forced to invoke a dreaded financial mechanism, the special assessment. A special assessment is an immediate, mandatory lump sum tax levied directly against every individual unit owner in the building, calculated according to their percentage of common interest ownership. Unlike regular monthly maintenance fees that are predictable and budgeted, a special assessment arrives out of nowhere. Depending on the scale of the neglected repair and the size of the deficit, special assessments can easily range from a few $1,000s to $20,000, $50,000, or even more per unit owner, often due with relatively short notice. For many homeowners, a surprise bill of this size can trigger severe financial hardship, forced property sales, or even legal collection actions. Conversely, living in a building with a healthy, adequately funded reserve delivers crucial protections. Financial protection. It shields you from sudden, catastrophic, out-of-pocket cash calls by spreading capital replacement costs evenly and fairly over time. Equity and value preservation. It ensures the building remains structurally sound, attractive, and well-maintained, directly preserving and enhancing individual property resale values. Marketability and financing. Lenders, mortgage brokers, and prospective buyers closely scrutinize condominium financial statements during due diligence. Buildings with depleted reserves or upcoming special assessments often face plummeting buyer interest and denied mortgage approvals, while healthy funds streamline sales. Whether you are actively shopping for a condominium unit or you've lived in your building for years, you should never treat the corporation's financial documentation as mere administrative background noise. Before waiving conditions on a condo purchase, or when reviewing your annual general meeting packet, always carefully inspect 3 vital documents. The current reserve fund study. Look at the executive summary to see if the fund is considered fully funded, underfunded, or following a recommended contribution schedule. The corporation's current financial statements. Compare the actual cash balance sitting in the reserve bank account against the recommended target balance in the reserve study. The board meeting minutes. Read through the past 12 to 24 months of board meeting notes to see if directors are actively discussing deferred maintenance, unexpected repair quotes, or potential upcoming special assessments. A healthy reserve fund is far more than a line item on an accountant's balance sheet. It is your single strongest defense against unexpected financial liabilities and the best guarantee that your home remains safe, comfortable, and financially sound for decades to come. Thanks for watching.